Good evening, Hari Om, Namaskara ellargu. Warm welcome to today's Manana session. Ivattu we are going to be discussing Shloka number 9 of Day 7 talk by Sri Prabhuji on Advaita Makaranda. So let us begin with a prayer. Last time we discussed Shloka number 8 of Advaita Makaranda in the same Day 7 talk. Today we'll be discussing Shloka number 9 on the same talk, second half of the Day 7 talk. So let us begin with the prayer, and I request Maneji and Babuji to conduct the session.
Om Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwara Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Akanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Manaji, please continue.
ನಾನು ನಾನೆಂಬುದು ನಾನಲ್ಲ, ಈ ದೇಹ ಮನ ಬುದ್ಧಿ ನಾನಲ್ಲ, ಸಚ್ಚಿದಾನಂದ ಆತ್ಮ ಶಿವ ನಾನು ನಾನೇ. ಶಿವೋಹಂ ಶಿವೋಹಂ ಶಿವೋಹಂ.
Murtiji.
Atmadarshanam Brahmadarshanam Brahmadarshanam Satyadarshanam Satyadarshanam Antarjyoti Bahirjyoti Pratyajyoti Paratpara Jyotireva Jyoti Swayam Jyoti Atma Jyoti Shivosmiham.
Okay. In the last Manana session,
No, there is one more. Guru Paramparege Vandane Helbeku. We have to invoke. Sada Shiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Narayana Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karuna Alayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram. Om Sadguru Devaya Namaha.
Okay.
Please proceed, madam.
In the last Manana session, we contemplated on Shloka number 8 of Advaita Makaranda, which proved that I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am not the Indriyas, and I am not the prana. They are all mamata, idam, this thought. Today, in Shloka number 9, this Shloka number 9 proves that I am Satchit Ananda Atma and not the ego, that not the ahankara, that is not the vikara of aham. The shloka reads as follows. Sakshi sarvanidvita prayan aham na aham kadachana parinama paricheda paritapaya upaplavat. Aham sakshi, I am the witness consciousness. Sarvanvita, I am all pervading existence, chit. I am prayan, the most loved Ananda. So I am Satchidananda Atma. Na aham, not the ego. I am not the ego. I am not ahankara. I am not the reflected consciousness. Because kadachit, never, upaplavat, I suffer from any disastrous calamities like parinama. That is, I am not affected by Panchabhutas. I do not change. Whereas the ego changes. Paricheda. I am not subject to any partitions, or I cannot be subjected to any limitations also.
Limitations.
I am all pervading. Whereas ego is limited to body, mind, and intellect. Paritapa. So I do not have any type of tapa because I am Ananda Swarupa. Whereas the ego has got all the types of tapa, tapatraya. Adhibhuta, Adhidaiva, Adhyatmika, tapas, tapatrayas they have. So I am not the ego. Na aham, I am aham, pure I. Satchidananda Atma. This is what this shloka tells. Vasuji, please lead us.
Ila, please go ahead and discuss what is each one's understanding in the light of Prabhuji's talks that we have all listened to. The shloka is wonderfully expressed and told by Babuji. Now, how do we understand this is what we will discuss in the Manana session in the light of Prabhuji's reference talk of the second half of day 7 talk on Advaita Makaranda. Heli, please proceed.
I'll tell my opinion.
Kandita.
The superimposition is a wrong understanding that the jiva has got, that it believes that I am body, mind, and intellect, and it is used to the day-to-day living. We believe it is the truth, but the truth is something different, and we take our body as real, and we are experiencing all this through this body, mind, and intellect. Which is a wrong understanding. Because of that, this confusion has started. The confusion and, the real understanding is the Atman, which is supporting everything, is always there. And it is a witness consciousness that we always forget in our day-to-day living and working. So that we always think I am doing, I am experiencing, everything is happening in all that. So a strong belief has made us not to easily understand about the Atman. So the process has to be reversed in due course. It cannot happen very easily or very quickly. As Prabhuji was telling, Sakshi and reflected consciousness cannot be separated. Though the reflected consciousness is a borrowed one, which is not the real one or true, it cannot be separated easily because of our accustomed to many jalmas of living in this ajnana. Now the gurus have given us this knowledge and teachings, and so clearly, so near, with so many examples they have explained. They have experienced all these things, and we have to go very, very deep into this subject and constantly understand that we are not this body, this mind. The very sloka Prabhuji gives everything in that. This one small sloka, what he repeats in between his lecture, that is the only the thing in all the books and all the Vedanta. So that is so difficult to go out of this body, consciousness. We always feel it is everything is happening. So now constantly we have to go, concentrate on the Vedanta's teaching and slowly change. We have to reverse our process of understanding. In a due course, it is possible to believe all these things and experience all these things and feel that what is happening is not for me. Sorrows, happiness is all only for the mind. The mind projects everything. So the control of the mind will give us more and more confidence in our day-to-day living. This has to be practiced continuously and every time. We are all mature now. We have gone through our life for a long, more than 60 years. For the youngsters, it is really difficult because even if you tell them all these things, they will never believe all these things. Now we have gone through the life, bitter, happiness, everything, all type of experience we have gone through. Now we have to dwell upon the Guru's teachings and very, very constantly contemplate on it. And it is possible. That is my feeling. And it will happen. It will happen if a sincere sadhak wants to know all these things. It will happen with the Guru's blessing. There is no doubt about it.
Thank you, Manaji. Just one or two points of thing you have explained clearly what your understanding is about reflected consciousness and thing, but a few things, just 2 points came to my mind. One is, of course, you had made a reference that it is long and then difficult. Prabhuji often says we have to get over that idea. You have to take it out of the mind. That itself can be an obstacle. Oh, you have to take, we don't know how long it will take, but if we start any effort, any sadhana with, it will take long, it's difficult, then that itself will become the reality. The belief, we must have a proper understanding that realization, Atman is my true nature. If Atman, Brahman is my true nature, then I am Brahman. Then there is no distance between me and Brahman. So it is the simplest thing that I can have and the easiest thing that I can have. The problem is Avarana and Vikshepa, which we have to work on, and we have to get over. I'm just making this reference because Prabhuji immediately corrects whenever we say, spiritual path is very difficult, self-realization is very difficult. No, that one we should remove. Second, in our path to self-realization, sadhana effort, we need not compare others with this. Youth or youngsters, they don't value this. No, the focus must be on the self, individual. We should not even bring the word we. Where am I in the whole equation? What am I doing? Whether I am applying effort or focus or attention towards that, do I value it? If we talk about comparing youngsters or youth with this, then our mind gets distracted. That is not the thing that we have to do. Just otherwise, the main thing is, it's explained, you have expressed your thoughts very well, beautifully. So if there is one thing about the shloka that you would like to say, one salient point, what would you like to say, Manaji? Can I ask Babuji to just repeat the shloka, please? If you
Sakshi Sarvanvita Preyan Aham na Aham Kadachana Parinama Paricheda Paritapaya Upaplavat.
But please say the meaning also.
Yeah. Aham Sakshi. I am the witness consciousness. Sarvanvita, all pervading. Preyan, I am the most loved one. I am Ananda. I am Sachidananda Atma. Na aham. I am not the ego. I am not the ahankara. Because I do not suffer from parinama, any changes due to panchabhutas. Paricheda. I am sarvanvita, so I cannot be partitioned. So paritapa. I am not subject to any tapa. Not tapat, nothing. No tapatraya. No hardships of any sort is there because I am Ananda Swarupa. This is what the shloka tells.
So, in summary, the poet is trying to say, I am the eternal witness, all-encompassing witness, but not the ego, which is ever-changing, subject to limitations and afflictions. Tapa, the three types of tapa, the afflictions and the limitations, parinama. So from this, what point would you like to highlight, Maneji, as your inspiration or understanding? Anyone?
Normally, we think we are jivas, and the jivas means immediately we feel we are limited. That is the first, understanding we are having, where Atman is infinite. That means it is limitless. There is no bound. Limitations means it's all pervading. So many attributes are there for Atman. When you go through it, we feel, oh, this is all not for me. I cannot go to that level, or I cannot understand that much. That feeling.
Nodi, I want to stop you there. I cannot, okay. I do not do, please don't. We don't get into that mode of thinking at all.
Okay. Only about the slokas.
No, Brahman, you are Brahman. So why can't
I am Brahman means all rolled out. All the
so finite, I cannot do it. It is very difficult. It will take lifetimes after lifetimes, births after births, rebirths, all that. When you are Brahman now, you can Brahman always.
Forever.
So that again. So, but okay. What we are trying to do is, you have already explained very well. What one point would you like to highlight as a key takeaway from this, from your understanding?
Okay. To get rid of the ego, the confusion and the delusion has to be corrected. This is the main thing which is making us to feel limited. That's
wonderful.
All.
Wonderful. Great. ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಿಪ್ಪ ತುಂಬಾ I think you hit the nail on the head ಅಂತಾರಲ್ಲ ಹಾಗೆ.
In fact, I have not gone through the shlokas at all. I don't know even I have not seen the video of the Prabhuji's, and I'm here listening. So I'm missing so many details in his PowerPoint.
If you have listened to Prabhuji's talks, Prabhuji has written the shloka. I mean, has explained the shlokas. Babuji is actually bringing it up again, only extracting the shloka for our discussion. He has, since you have listened to the talk, Prabhuji's video, even there it is there, and he has elaborated on that shloka very well, that you have explained.
Thank you, Vasuji.
Babuji, yours.
Yeah, there's a confusion between I and the aham, the ahankara. Aham and ahankara, there is a lot of confusion. So that's why the explanation is given by Lakshmi Kavi as to what are all the 3 points where we have by which we have to understand that we are the real I, we are Sat Chit Ananda. Because consciousness and reflected consciousness, there is no difference. It is the same. And there is no distance between the two, because the consciousness is all pervading. The reflected consciousness appears different from, even though it is limited to body, mind, and intellect, it looks different because of the impurities that exist in our mind. Otherwise, it is the same. Suppose we remove all the impurities through karma yoga and bhakti yoga and all these things, then it is the pure, we will be reflecting the pure consciousness only. And there will not be any difference between Satchidananda, Atma, and the Ahankara. This is what I understood.
Very good. Very nicely explained. So the impurity causes the delusion and confusion.
Yes, yes.
Nimde Babuji, you have to conduct the session.
Sorry,
ಹೇಳಿ. Please proceed. Please take it.
Babuji, ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. Very good.
Prabhuji has told that if the mirror is not clean,
you conduct the whole session, whichever way ಇವಾಗ ಮಾನೆ ಅವ್ರು ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರು.
ಇಲ್ಲ, ನನಗಿನ್ನೂ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಇದಾಗ್ಬೇಕು ಸರ್. I need some more experience and all these things.
Okay, we will ask.
Kindly guide us through.
Okay, all right.
Because you see, in a mirror, our reflection is same as our our body, mind, and intellect. Body. But if the mirror is dirty, our image also looks dirty, even though there is no our body is very clean and all these things. So this is what is happening. If the mind is clean, then the reflection that what it reflects is also pure Satchidananda.
ಮೂರ್ತಿ ಅವರೇ ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ. ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು ಬಾಬುಜಿ, ವೆರಿ ನೈಸ್ಲಿ ಪುಟ್. ಕೀ ಟೇಕ್ ಅವೇ ಫ್ರಾಮ್ ದ ಶ್ಲೋಕ.
Very nicely put, because if the mirror is not clean, the reflection is also not clean. So the mirror is like a mind. If the mind is pure, the reflection is also looks better. But still, it is not a real one. The reflection, bimba, pratibimba, that difference is there.
Very nice, very nice. Murti ji, Srinivas Murti ji.
Hari Om. Yeah, Babu has told, given the example of a mirror, but I have a little doubt regarding mirror. So he told, we see the reflection in the mirror. So when you are in front of the mirror, its reflection is there. Similarly, Atman, which is called Chidabhasa, cannot perform without Atman. So there is this, it is the same reflection, just like a mirror, it happens. But still, Guruji has told, what is this some major difference between if you are seeing your reflection on the mirror and reflection of Chidabhasa. So that Babu can kindly explain?
Mute.
Babuji, you're on mute. Srinivas Babuji, you're on mute. Please unmute.
There's no difference between Chit and Chidabhasa. It is actually the same. Only if the mind is impure, it appears the consciousness, the pure consciousness appears as impure, and it reflects the impurities of the mind. So when the mind becomes pure, when we make the mind pure or mind silent, then there is no difference between Chit and Chidabhasa.
In respect to mirror, he has given what are the major obstacles. So, what is the difference between seeing in the mirror and seeing your reflection as Chidabhasa and in stock? That
So, Srinivas Murthy, ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿ ಅದನ್ನ highlight ಮಾಡಿ, Srinivas Murthy ಅವರೇ, please.
So, I think in his talk, I have seen you are seeing the reflection of the mirror. You are in the front of the mirror. So, whatever your body is there, it is appearing in the mirror. But in case of this one reflection of Chidabhasa by the source, in the mirror, for you and the reflection, there is a gap. But there is no gap for the source as well as the reflection. So that is the major difference. So as there is no gap, you cannot separate him. So that is the root cause why you have to go to the your source. That is the one difference I think I have heard today, only just I thought. And the second difference is what he has told, you cannot separate your reflection in the mirror. So only thing, you want to separate this mirror, reflection of mirror, you have to break the mirror. Similarly, you want to know your source of this one, so what is that? You have to do mano nasha. So unless and until this happens, this type of differences will always come. By constant practice of Shravana, Manana, Nidhyasa, and for the purity of your heart, that is what is called Antaranga Shuddhi, purity of heart, you have to do Karma Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. So that is one aspect of purifying your mind and heart. And to know who am I is the Gnana Marga. So, so clarity of mind and purity of heart should go continuously, so that all these till your purity of your heart and Antaranga Shuddhi, this Karma Marga and Bhakti Marga should continue. And to know to go to the source of that, this one, how this thought is arising, you should always inquire, who am I? So through Gnana Marga. So these are totally together. You can come, when you get the clarity of mind and purity of heart, you can stand and you can come to know that you are not this one. All this body, mind, and intellect is nothing but an object, whereas you are the real subject. With this real subject, everything is reflecting. I think there is a problem. So, you are the real subject. So, you are on your subject, that reflection is going on. So, they are all dependent on the subject. That is the object, and you are the subject. So, this way, you can finally understood that your real nature. Thank you.
Wonderful, Ji. Very nice, Srinivas Murthy Ji. Very beautifully explained the two things. I will just draw upon Prabhuji's talk, portions of it here. So you are able to see this. So this is the shloka. I hope you are able to see.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So this is what Babuji said. That I am the witness all pervading and dear to me. The Sakshi I am is what I am. I am not the ego, can never be, because the ego is subject to modifications, limitations, and afflictions. It has calamitous associations. Now, based on this also, actually Srinivas Murthy Ji brought out this topic of reflections. Even Babuji also said this. The normal model of reflection, that this is taken from Prabhuji's talk only, day 7 talk. I'm sharing Prabhuji's talk here, portions of it. So in the normal course of reflection, there is a reflecting surface. So the first reflection of the sun, the Brahman over here, you can see is Sakshi, or Brahman is the sun, and the mirror is the Sukshma Sharira, or the subtle body, reflecting surface, and Chidabhasa, it gets reflected as the reflection. And that from that, in the heart, there is a feeling of aham or I am. That is Chidabhasa. In itself, it's there is a feeling of I am is the thought. That is Chidabhasa. All right. And then afterwards, through this, because when the I thought rises, it is able to cognize the world of objects. The roses are, bunch of roses are shown here. So we are able to know the rose, we are able to know people, we are able to know everything. Now, the different, there are similarities. This process is compared with, actually, this process is compared with the reflection of the mirror. Now, here there is one thing here. This is what we have to understand. Where do the properties, what the shloka says and what Prabhuji has explained is that it is very difficult to separate aham from ahankara, aham from aham vritti. Aham is the real I, and aham vritti is the I thought. So this one we have to distinguish. From idam vritti, I can separate I, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do we mean by that? Can we share? There are two vrittis, aham vritti and idam vritti, that Prabhuji has explained in the previous shloka, isn't it?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought and this thought. Aham vritti is I thought, idam vritti is this thought.
Yeah.
All the inanimate objects, all the objects are classified as this thought, isn't it? External objects are classified as this thought. The feeling that arises within me is classified as I thought. Is that okay? The I thought given that rises from Chidabhasa. All right? The feeling of I am. Now, Prabhuji has said that from what is this thought? This is a car. This is my house. This is my two-wheeler scooter. This is my mobile or laptop. Now, we are able to separate relatively easily this thought from I thought, isn't it? This thought from I. I can easily say, I am not the car, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
But but it is difficult for me to separate I from I thought, from aham vritti.
Yes.
Aham from idam vritti I can separate from aham by logical conclusion relatively easily because they are all external objects. Now, what Murthy brought out is it is very difficult to separate aham vritti from aham, because Purva Pakshi, what does he saying? Okay, my thought anyway, this is mine, that is mine, I can identify and I can separate I from what is mine. Alva, my car, my wife, my relationship, my job, my bank account. So those are all distinctly separate from me. I can easily separate. Whereas the problem is the Purva Pakshi in the shloka is saying, okay, one part is clear. I accept that you can separate mine from I, me, but you can't separate me from I. That means I am feeling from I. It is very intimate. So that is, so how do we reconcile that?
Not normally we get associated so deeply into the object, and anything happens to the object, we feel it is happening to me. Like Prabhuji was giving an example.
I'll show you this example from Prabhuji's talk.
Okay.
Okay. There is a, what is the picture saying?
An iron ball is heating.
Ellaru, please, everyone share your understanding. How do we reflect it? And on the right-hand side, what is there?
Magnet and iron.
Iron, okay. So how do we actually separate how do we use this as an inspiration or as an exercise to understand that I is separate from me?
I feel this association is temporary. For example, if the magnet is separated more distance, it will lose the magnetism. Then the iron ball, if it is taken away from it, it cools down. So these are all temporary, but Atman is not temporary. It is always there. It will not change. It will never change. So these changes happens in the Chidabhasa or the reflected one, not in the original.
Wonderful. Great. That is one way. Mikoro, what about others? The only
Chidabhasa,
one... Go ahead.
Chidabhasa is the reflected consciousness, similar to the heat and color of the iron ball that is being acquired from the fire. Like magnetism of the iron piece is magnetized due to the presence of the magnet.
Okay.
So Chidabhasa is acquired. It is not an intrinsic character of the body, mind, and intellect. Body, mind, and intellect, pranas, indriyas, appears.
Literally, how do we use this as an inspiration to understand that the real I is separate from I thought, I am? In principle, agreed, Babuji. I mean, it is correct. Chidabhasa is acquired. Is it acquired? The heat is acquired here. Alva? So how, Srinivas Murthy ji, would you like to look at it? Or Babuji, would you like to explore further? See, what are we discussing at this point? Idam vritti can be separated from aham relatively easily because I understand that I am not my car, I am not my house.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Alva.
Yeah.
But I am not I another I am not I another hinge. That is more difficult to separate. Isn't it?
Yeah.
To say I am not aham vritti is very difficult. Aham is different from aham vritti is very difficult. That is what Murthy ji also was saying. Very difficult to separate because of its close proximity. But can we physically separate? No. In life, we can't physically separate, isn't it? Can we separate Chidabhasa from Sakshi physically?
No.
No. Isn't it? So it must happen through jnana and understanding. Jnana or understanding, right understanding. So how do we use this? This is the example given in Prabhuji's talk. This is Prabhuji's talk only. Murthy ji is there? Or is he muted?
No. Other sir, because as they told in this case of a mirror example, see, we can see the object that is your reflection in the mirror. So there is the separation is there. Mirror is separate.
Correct.
In case of this one, Atman and
No, that you have already explained.
There is
I know
no gap.
the difficulty is there. Separation, distance, you have said.
Yeah.
But how do we understand that aham vritti is not I, the real I? Through this example.
And secondly, you see, in this context, he has told to how to understand that aham vritti is not separate. This one means because of the wrong understanding of this I am body, mind, and intellect.
All
so
right.
you are, you are assuming you are the real I.
Okay, wonderful. Please be there. Please be there, Murthy ji. Just be there. Now with that idea that the iron ball is red hot and is in flame.
Yeah.
Now, actually, Babuji mentioned one very nice thing, that the heat is not intrinsic to the iron rod. Howda? Babuji, am I right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay. So
it is not an intrinsic character of the
okay. So where is the property of heat? Is it in the subject or in the object?
It's in the subject.
Huh?
No. Oh, sorry.
Now, aham is the subject. Okay, here in this example, iron ball is red hot, iron is red hot, and iron is burning with light. So where is the property of heat and light? Is it in the iron rod or is it in the fire that is heating the iron rod?
It's in the fire.
It's in the fire.
Yes.
Okay, go to the right-hand side of the picture. Where is the property of the magnet? Is it in the iron piece or in the magnet?
Magnet.
It is in the magnet. Yeah.
It's in the magnet. So the iron piece acquires the property of the magnet by being in proximity with the magnet. Correct?
Yes.
All right. Therefore, the properties of anything, is it in the subject or object?
It is in the subject.
Now consider I and non-I. Non-I is I thought and every other thought. Pure I is consciousness or Sakshi. Alva.
Yes.
Now, Chidabhasa, is it pure or impure?
Impure.
Really?
If the
It's a
Chidabhasa
borrowed-
is not impure, if
Not
it
impure,
appears
borrowed.
impure due to impure
It
mind.
appears impure. It is not.
Appears to be impure. Okay.
All right. For example, the reflection in the mirror, is it clean or dirty?
It is clean.
Only.
It appears dirty if
Appears
there
to be dirty
if there
because
is
of the
dirt
mirror.
on the mirror.
Okay. Media.
No, it is neutral.
Okay.
The reflection itself is neutral. It appears dirty or clean or distorted depending on the condition of the reflecting surface. Okay. And for whom it appears dirty? For the onlooker. Alva?
Yes.
Now, that aside, now that apart, so here, if we have two things, one is real I, which is the subject, and the world, which is the object. Okay. For example, there is the rose is red, grass is green. Alva?
Yeah.
Yes.
That is the famous primary school statement.
Yes.
Where is the color of the rose? Is it in the eyes or in the rose?
It is in the rose.
Where is the greenness of the grass? Is it in the grass or on the onlooker?
It is in the grass. Yeah.
So where are the properties of the objects? Is the property a quality of the object or the quality of the subject?
Quality of the object.
So what qualities does the subject have?
Neutral.
Satchitananda.
No quality.
No
No
quality.
So then if you see anything I thought, you know it belongs to I thought, not to I. I am angry. I am hungry. I am happy. Even I am happy, positive feeling, where does it belong to? Does it belong to I or I thought?
I thought.
That is how we separate, isn't it? That's what Prabhuji is saying. The properties of our feeling doesn't belong to I. It belongs to I thought, aham vritti. Vritti is the ego.
Yeah.
So it's easy to identify what properties belong to idam vritti because they are gross objects, external objects. But the moment it comes closer to us, for example, body, mind, intellect. So sometimes I will say I have knee pain. Sometimes I will say my knee is paining.
Yeah.
When I say my knee is paining, I'm seeing my knee as an object, external object. My knee. It is mine. Mamakara, isn't it?
Yes.
What is mine is not me. That I understand.
Yeah.
All right. But then the moment I say knee hurts, then I'm identifying that with I.
Yeah.
So how should I separate that through right understanding? So through this shloka is saying the property of pain belongs to the knee or the body, not to the I. My knee is paining is aham vritti. It belongs to aham vritti, not to aham. So that is how we separate aham from aham vritti. Is this clear?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Separating aham from idam vritti is relatively easy because there is a greater distance between aham and idam vritti. Alva? Whereas
Okay.
aham and
Yes,
aham
yes.
vritti are very close to each other. They are kind of attached.
Amakara.
They are attached. But through Vedantic study and guidance of a teacher, we understand that the qualities of change or any property belongs to the object, not to
Not
the
to the
subject.
subject.
That is how anything that happens to me, if I feel I am hungry, it is happening to me, I must understand through these examples and through this teaching that it is happening to I thought and I am wrongly identifying with I thought.
Very key point. You made it very clear, Vasuji.
Okay. So this is clearly explained in the talk given by Prabhuji. Murtiji, do you want to add anything to this? Mute ಆಗಿದ್ದೀರಾ?
ಹೇಳಿ ಸರ್.
ಅಲ್ಲಲ್ಲ ನೀವು do you want to add anything to this? I'm just
ಅದೇ see, as you told, the example of the mirror, why it is given me, because in case of reflection of your face on the mirror, there is a gap.
Correct.
So, but in case of seeing your aham vritti, there is no gap.
Correct.
Because aham in aham vritti, because Chidabhasa and reflected consciousness and the real consciousness, there is no gap. So to identify, separate yourself with deep understanding, with so whatever, as you told, sometimes I say it is mine, I am suffering. Sometimes say that I have pain. So there is when you say again, sometimes we say there is a difference in me, and sometimes we say there is no difference. So this has to come out through gnana. That means you should well establish yourself. I am not the body. So pain is happening, I am witnessing, and thoughts are happening in my mind. So I am not the thought. So so in this way you have to well establish yourself through scriptures and Guruji's teachings. Then if you identify yourself, then as you told, if you want to come out this, he told you cannot separate your reflecting face from the mirror. Only option is you have to break the mirror. Then so in that way, here the breaking the mirror means you have to well establish, and you have to gradually, by knowing yourself, you have to do mano nasha. Mano nasha means all the time in waking state and dream state or deep sleep, you should be well aware everything is happening and one single that source of this one. On that source only, with through reflection candidate, this waking state, dream state and deep sleep is happening. But in all the dream, I am seeing as a witness. So in that, when you get that clarity, whatever is happening, it is happening to this, to here, to me, or this means my body. Again, you have to separate like this. This means my body.
Correct.
This my mind. This my mind, intellect.
So actually, what the important point here is that even the body, instead of being aham vritti, is actually idam vritti, because it is a subtle way, though it is closer to me, it is an object. That is how we understand. Now, what we are talking of, what Srinivas Murthy ji said about reflection in the mirror and Sakshi and Chidabhasa, is outlined in the table Prabhuji has given in the talk. It is in 1 hour 21 minutes, at this place. Now, like Murthy ji said, there are several commonalities and several differences between the two models, teaching, two concepts, two examples. Reflected face in the mirror is compared with the reflection of Chidabhasa, Sakshi and Chidabhasa in the Sukshma Sharira. Now, there are, what is the difference? Like Murthy ji already pointed out, the first point, face is separate from the mirror in the face, reflection of the face in the mirror. But reflection of Sakshi as Chidabhasa is not separate from Sakshi. This is the key difference. It is not separate from Sakshi. Okay. Not separate means it is the same. It is just that Sakshi has appeared in the reflecting surface. That is all, as Chidabhasa. It is not in essence different. Now, that is why it is so difficult to separate I from I thought. Because even what Drigdrishya Viveka says, the moment reflection happens, I am rises. Egoistic thought, I am rises. Okay. So I am and Chidabhasa very difficult to separate. Similarly, Chidabhasa and Sakshi very difficult to separate. So we should not take, when we take the face and mirror example, we must know that the reflection of Sakshi as Chidabhasa in the mind is slightly different. Chidabhasa is, Sakshi is not different from Chidabhasa. Chidabhasa appears different from Sakshi because of the mind, because of the quality of the mind. Inherently, it is not different. This part, is it clear? This is the key difference.
Vasuji,
Yes,
may I give one more example?
Yeah, please. This is a Manana session. You should, we should discuss freely.
The same thing I would want to express in another way. To say that, for example, a beautiful girl stands in front of a mirror. The mirror will not say, hang on for some more time, I want to see you. It will not say. A old man is come and stand in the same mirror in front of it. Hey, Buddha, hatao idhar, nikal jao idhar se, go away, like that. The mirror is unconditional. It is a neutral. It has no effect on the subject, what is in front of it. It will not give distinctions like our mind. Mind is only telling old man, beautiful girl,
Wonderful.
all this is in the mind. But mirror has no conditioning.
So where will you use this example of mirror and reflection in the mirror? For what?
I
Using
would like
this,
to say
using
that
your
Sakshi
explanation.
has no conditioning.
Sakshi is not affected by what is happening
In the
in
subject.
the reflection.
I mean, in the reflection or objects.
Alva, for that purpose, you can use this example of face and face reflected in the mirror. Original face and face reflected in the mirror. Image
Yes.
of the face in the mirror. That is a very wonderful example to show that Sakshi remains unaffected irrespective of what happens to its reflection in the mirror.
Yes. Very, very, very keen point.
Innenadru idya? Anybody else would like to say? This is the key difference.
Very, very subtle one. Very subtle one.
So here, Babuji, anything that you would like to share?
Chidabhasa is limited to body, mind, and intellect, whereas consciousness is all pervasive. Right.
So consciousness or Sakshi is not just, it is similar to the reflection. Reflection is limited to the mirror. So in this case, the two are similar. Chidabhasa is confined to the body, mind, the reflecting surface, which is the body, which is the Sukshma Sharira. Right?
Yeah.
Mind.
Yes.
In the mind, right? Similarly, the reflection of the face in the mirror is confined to the mirror. So in this case, these two are similar. These two examples are similar. Whereas in the first case, there is a difference. Sakshi is not separate from Chidabhasa, whereas reflection is separate from the original face in the mirror. Okay?
Yeah.
So we must know where similarities are there, where differences are there.
Yeah.
Now, similarly, if Sakshi and Chidabhasa are not separate, then there cannot be any distance between Sakshi and Chidabhasa.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Whereas there is a difference, like what Murtiji was saying. There is a difference between the face and the reflection of the face in the mirror. Distance.
Yeah.
Okay. So that is the third point. This third point comes directly as a correlation from the first point. If Sakshi is not if Chidabhasa is not different from Sakshi, where can the distance be?
Yeah.
It cannot be there. Whereas between the face and the reflection in the mirror, there is a distance. Now, it's easy to separate the next one, right? Easy to separate the face from the reflection. We know, we very clearly know that nothing will happen to the face. The reflection may be appear dirty, but even if the face is clean, because the mirror is dirty. So, because Chidabhasa and Chit are the same, we can't separate them. Like what was Murtiji saying? It is only possible to separate them when the mirror breaks. That means manonasha. Alva Murtiji, that's what you were saying. So that is this point. It is impossible, not practically, 100% impossible to separate Sakshi from Chidabhasa. Impossible to separate Chidabhasa from its reflection surface. The only way is realization, and realization can happen with Mano Nasha.
One small practical example, if you allow me to say, I will.
Helipa, Heli.
When my mother was paralyzed 40 years back, she was taken to a hospital. After some time, she gained her consciousness. I was there. Suddenly, she touched her left leg. That means that was paralyzed. She got consciousness of the body. Then she felt her left leg is not immobilized. Suppose she were in the consciousness, it is always immobilized. She will always feel it. But that feeling came to her first body consciousness. Then suddenly she felt her body, left leg is not, it is paralyzed. So this is how the whole world, whole experiences happen only after the reflection. The Sakshi is reflected in our body. Otherwise, there is nothing, no experience, nothing, no world, no pain, no leg, no body, nothing will be there. So that one very keen after this one, it came to my mind now after knowing all these things, how the consciousness comes to the body, then to the world. World means even the body is also object only. So then we feel what is happening to my leg. But we feel it is my leg, but it is actually it is an object.
Consciousness does not come to the body. Consciousness is all pervading.
Yeah,
consciousness andre chit tatva
supports or reflects.
So what does Prabhuji say? I thought comes and goes, but I ever stays. For example, in sleep, where is I thought? It is not there, isn't it?
Yes.
But is I not there? I is there, but what does I thought not being there in deep sleep mean? Does it mean the absence of I? Absence of I thought, does it mean the absence of I?
No.
So how does I thought disappear in sleep in spite of I being there?
It goes to that seed stage or...
how? Why?
Because they are separate.
Okay, but why does I thought disappear in deep sleep?
There is no mind.
Ivaga, I and I thought cannot be separated. Sakshi and Chidabhasa cannot be separated, isn't it?
Yes.
They are always there.
Yes.
But in deep sleep, I thought disappears. Where is I am feeling in deep sleep? Not
they
there,
merge.
isn't it?
They merge. They become one.
ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಹೇಗಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. You are telling the principle, which is
Okay. That duality becomes...
What happens in deep sleep? What happens to the body, mind? What goes to sleep?
The body and mind goes to sleep.
Mind also goes to sleep. That means mind folds and rests unto itself. There is no activity. When the mind goes to sleep, where is the reflection? Okay, now suppose you stand in front of the mirror. Okay, consider mirror is active when the mirror is facing you.
Yeah.
That is the waking state. Okay. Now you turn the mirror against the wall.
Yeah.
The reflecting surface against the wall. Turn it around and let the backs of the mirror face you. That means the reflecting surface of the mirror is facing the wall.
Okay.
Will it reflect your face?
No. No, it will not.
Turning the mirror backside, consider it like a deep sleep. Mirror is folding into itself in the restful state, closing. Okay, mirror senses go to sleep. Mind, which is also a subtle sense, goes to sleep in deep sleep. Then what happens to the reflection? It cannot reflect. I is there, but it cannot reflect because the mind has gone to sleep along with the senses. Okay. So the absence, the I thought comes and goes. That is what Prabhuji is saying. Very nicely put here. I thought comes and goes even during the day. During the waking state, it comes. I am this, I am doing that. It is active. In dream, it is half active. In deep sleep, it is gone. But I is ever present.
Very nice. Very good example. Very clearly explained.
So the how much I thought, where, how I thought comes is a quality of reflection of the how active and how pure the reflecting surface or the Sukshma Sharira is, mind is. Nothing has happened to I. All changes happened only to Aham Vritti, I thought. From I thought, every other thought arises. Okay. So the last 2 points we have already discussed. Reflection is limited to the mirror. Similarly, Chidabhasa is limited to body-mind, but Chit Sakshi is universal, all-pervading. It is there in the body-mind as well as outside. Same Chit Sakshi. In the body-mind, it shows up as Chidabhasa. Outside, it shows up as pure awareness, is available as pure awareness. All right. Any further?
I think what Mane has told, something the relatives have been hospitalized. Then what is that? Not this one. Where I thought what he told through that consciously she can gain her this one movement of leg and all. She told no. So in the similar way, conscious was there all the time. But when the mind was thought, when there is no thought, mind was blocked. That was the problem for movement of our organs. But the conscious or the reflected conscious was always there. That's why she survived. Am I correct?
So what principle we can take from this? That consciousness is ever present, but we'll become aware of it when the reflecting surface wakes up and starts reflecting. That is the principle you can take. What experience his mother had, only he can know, and his mother can know intimately. We cannot know. But in principle, this is what would have happened, isn't it? So,
Sakshi ever present, and the
Sakshi
body
was
mind
ever present. In unconscious state, the mind, the reflecting mind was not there. Not there meaning gone to sleep. Then slight waking up then fully waking up is a fully conscious state. Alva?
Okay.
Okay. So this is another part of the example, another example Prabhuji has given in the talk.
Okay.
Jivatman is one with Paramatman.
Yeah.
Where there is a jar. Would anybody like to explain this when they have listened to the talk? Bega, let's do that and then we'll move on to Nididhyasa because this is an important point.
Kutastha Atma is, it is like a kuta, that is like a metallurgist in the villages and all these things.
Okay.
Who prepares the iron, this one.
What is the jar? What is the jar in this example?
That is the Kutastha Atma. That is I.
Jar. Glass jar.
Jar is the body.
Jar is the body. Okay.
Yeah.
Then,
and the mind is the water in that.
Mind is the water. Okay.
Kutastha Atma is the sun.
Sun where?
The consciousness.
Okay. Okay. The beam falling in the
water in the jug. That is in the mind.
So
appearing in the mind.
What is the no. What is the state of the jug? Is the jug filled fully with water?
No.
So
it is half full.
Half full.
Yeah.
Okay. Now what is the space? What is Kutastha Atma here? Is it the space in the water or the empty space remaining in the jug?
Empty space remaining in the jug.
Okay, then please proceed. Helipa Mundvarsi, please proceed from this point.
This Kutastha Atma is changeless without any modifications and all these things. When it appears in the mind, when it reflects in the water, that is appears in the mind. Of course, I don't know. It is called as Abhasa Chaitanya.
Okay.
That
correct.
is Chidabhasa, reflected consciousness.
Abhasa means modification.
Yeah.
Okay. So how are we saying Sakshi is the same as Paramatma? Why are they showing, why is Prabhuji showing three different lights? The light outside is Paramatma, Brahman, and the light inside the jar, in the space inside the jar is Kutastha Atma or Sakshi, the individual witness consciousness, and the light reflected in the water, reflected consciousness, Chidabhasa, and the whole thing together is called Jiva, which is jar, jug plus water plus reflected consciousness together called Jiva.
Yeah.
Why are there three lights shown? How are we saying Jivatman is one with Paramatman? We are not hearing. I think Maneji is trying to speak, not audible. Anybody can please share? Hari Om.
See, Jiva, it cannot reflect itself. It needs the light of the Chidabhasa.
Okay.
So it itself cannot shine. Even though they are shown the three, this one. So, Brahman, Paramatma's reflection is in Kutastha Sakshi, but the reflected consciousness, Chidabhasa, Jiva, because in between, there is a water that's called this mind. So there is a confusion for it. That bit, it assumes that I am the body, mind, and intellect.
We know the Chidabhasa is the one reflected in the mind. It's a reflected light, okay.
Yeah.
But the key point here is why are there two lights shown outside? That is Kutastha Atma, which is Sakshi, and Brahman, which is Paramatma. There are two different lights shown. And on the top, the title is saying Jivatman is one with Paramatman. That means Sakshi is the same as Brahman. Okay. So why are two lights shown?
The two lights are shown because as the title says, Jivatma is one with Paramatma, whereas this Jiva, because of this game of this mind thought process, it assumes it is separate from this the Kutastha Atma.
Sakshi is not, Sakshi is the light, not in the Jiva. It is, Sakshi is the light in the space above, empty space. Kutastha Atma, in the representation in this figure. Babuji, would you like to just share?
No.
Think about it, Murthy-ji. You are going back to Chidabhasa. That is already explained, correct? Because of the reflection of the mind, it is thinking, and its association with the body, mind, intellect, it is thinking itself as separate. That part is fine. That part is already discussed. But the light in the space, empty space in the jar, and the light outside the jar.
Vachuji, I want one small clarification. The Kutastha Atma, is it an individual consciousness, or because it is inside a jar, but
What
and when
would
it
you say?
reflects,
Yeah, you please
reflects
say.
in the mind, it becomes Jiva.
Babuji explained about Kutastha.
Kutastha means that which does not modify, which does not change. It is like a kuta of a metallurgist. Village metallurgist will be there, no? He will be on an iron base. He puts the red hot iron, goes on beating and all these things. The red hot iron changes, whereas this kuta does not change. This Kutastha Atma, that's why the original consciousness, pure consciousness, is called Kutastha. Because it does not change.
That is a wonderful point. Kutastha Atma is the one that does not change, but it pertains to, but there is a feeling that Atma and Paramatma are different, isn't it? Paramatma is universal, Atma is
limited to body,
individual, limited. So that is the question that we are discussing.
The reflected consciousness.
Reflection paralapa.
This Kutastha Atma means Sakshi, no? It is a reflected consciousness.
Illappa. No.
Sakshi ante heladmele, adu Sakshi is in the form of reflected consciousness, alva?
No, you use this. Don't use the reflection here. Reflection comes with Chidabhasa. Where is the reflection in Kutastha Atma? It's a beam of light that appears in the jar, empty space. Where is the reflection? The reflection is in the water. Illa, one nimsha. In the example, Murthy-ji, Where is the reflection? The
Empty
water
space
tane. No.
is limited to body, mind, intellect.
Illappa, please use the example to get an understanding. Consider the jar. Jar has partially filled water and then empty space in the jar. And then there is sunlight falling. When sunlight falls in the jar, it enters the space in the jar first. Okay? Yes.
Yes.
And then it reflects in the water. That is what reflects in the water is Chidabhasa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever the water filled in Jiva is nothing body, mind, and intellect. So that's why it is the feeling as Jiva.
We are not talking about Jiva. ನೀವು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ
Then
ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಮತ್ತೆ ಮೂರ್ತಿಜಿ. That is already discussed and we agree. Everyone, I think what Murtiji is saying, Jiva feels separate, that is clear, no?
Yeah, that's clear.
Because of the reflection.
Yeah.
Because of the variation in the reflecting surface, ego and mind, right? That part you have explained already, Murtiji, in the first part of the session.
Ego question,
Why are there two lights shown? Atma and Paramatma. Sakshi and Brahman. And then we are saying both are one. How are they one?
Because Jiva itself cannot survive without Sakshi.
Illappa. See, you're going back to Jiva. What is Sakshi?
Why two jar?
Okay, let us just hold on. Otherwise, what now? Just stay with this discussion. If we consider Kutastha Atma as unchanging, that means nothing happens to the Sakshi, which is the base of the metal that Babuji was saying. Everything happens, all changes happen to Chidabhasa or the Jiva, but nothing happens to Sakshi. Changes happen to Jiva, but nothing happens to Sakshi. In this example of jar partially filled with water, what is Sakshi?
Is it the consciousness in the body?
Illappa. In this example of the jar and the sunlight, what is Sakshi? It is the beam of light that is contained within the empty space of the jar.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
When the beam touches the water, it reflects and it becomes Chidabhasa. When Chidabhasa gets associated with the instruments, it becomes Jiva. Chidabhasa plus instruments will become Jiva. Correct? Now, the light within the jar appears to be restricted.
Yeah.
Contained, bound.
Bound by the jar.
By the jar.
Inside the jar.
Is it really bound? Can you bind the sunlight within the jar?
No.
It is the same light outside the jar and inside the jar. But it appears to be bound by the individual body, mind, intellect. It is still the same. That is why it is called Atma. Only for the purposes of understanding and analysis, it is called Atma and Paramatma. The sunlight outside, light outside the jar is Paramatma or Brahman. Is the light outside bound? Is the sunlight bound? It can spread anywhere. Is it restricted? No. Now, the light inside the jar only appears restricted. But it plays a role in reflecting itself in the reflecting instruments as Jiva. Sunlight will not directly reflect as Jiva. Is the jar in the light, though it is the same light, it's the light beam in the jar that gets reflected in the water.
Yeah.
That is why it is called Sakshi. That's why Chidabhasa is the same as Sakshi. It is not different. And Sakshi is the same as Paramatma. Qualitatively.
Very clear, Vasuji. I had a doubt why it is different.
Okay.
So now it is enclosed. It looks as if it is enclosed in the jar.
There is no difference. It cannot be enclosed. But because of the body
appearance,
it appears enclosed. The beam appears very small. Beam of light appears very small.
So it's the same thing which is outside everywhere.
Outside and inside is only with reference to the body.
Conditioning.
Body. And the moment we understand, then we know there is no outside and inside are the same. There is no difference between outside and inside. Okay?
Here the Jiva is shown with the sunlight. Jiva, why means, see, when you
Jiva
are
is
told
shown with the reflected light.
The reflected light, why means there only it is shown as mind. So because of mind, Jiva itself it separates entity.
Correct.
Alva? So that is the problem.
Correct.
So whereas the upper portion, it is not reflecting on the mind. It is reflecting to the whole. No, again as limited to body. Na, so a male picture kanastar light.
It appears.
It is related to single body or is related to this one. That I doubt. Light is reflection is what is called
there is no reflection in the space, empty space in the jar. It is the light that comes inside the jar, alva.
Whether it is inside and outside, the same light comes there. But when it colludes with mind, it becomes individually.
Correct.
That's what I'm telling.
Correct. Correct. Agree. You are right. Okay.
ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಟ್ರಿಕ್ಕಿ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀರ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮಂತವ್ರಿಗೆ
tricky allappa. The examples given by Prabhuji, there is he is trying to make us understand that Sakshi appears individual, why actually it is universal anta. Yake my atma anta nanna atma anta yake helod navu? Just a feeling. Is atma mine or yours? Is it my property? ಅದನ್ನೇ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ತೋರಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು. Why is Atma shown inside the jar? And why is Paramatma shown outside the jar? Only for the purposes of analysis and understanding. In reality, it is shown to explain the oneness of Sakshi and Brahman.
ಅಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಗ್ರಾಫ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, ಬಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ತೀರ್ಸಿ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತ್ರ ರಿಫ್ಲೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್
take that as a principle, otherwise we'll be going on extending the discussion. Okay.
No, to get clarity I told.
Bekidre we will
again there will be some differences because whether it is inside or outside, but only the reflected that picture was showing only inside. Inside, we thought the jar is a body.
Okay. So I think we have overshot our time limit by 8 minutes. Shall we chant the closing prayer? And
please.
Yaru, please, Babuji, you can take over and then.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। मूर्ति जी कंटिन्यू ಮಾಡಿ. मूर्ति जी म्यूट आगे.
आत्मदर्शनम ब्रह्मदर्शनम ब्रह्मदर्शनम सत्यदर्शनम अंतर्ज्योति बहिर्ज्योति प्रत्यज्योति परात्परा ज्योतिरेव ज्योति स्वयं ज्योति आत्मज्योति शिवोऽस्म्यहं। लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु। लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु। लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु। ओम शांति शांति शांति। तत्श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। तत्ब्रह्मार्पणमस्तु।